Okay, in today's flight we're going to be doing a simple little hop across the Long Island Sound. We're going to be heading from KHVN, that's Tweed New Haven in Connecticut, and we're going to be landing at JFK International, that's KJFK in New York. How we're going to do this is we're going to take off from runway 02 at Tweed New Haven. We're going to be heading southwest on a heading of around 227 degrees to the Deer Park VOR, which means we're going to be flying the 047 radial inbound to the Deer Park VOR. That's going to take us across the Long Island Sound. Then we're going to head west, but at some point before we actually reach the Deer Park VOR, we should be seeing the Long Island Expressway, which is the I-495 running across Long Island. And when we do, we're actually going to start executing the Belmont visual approach for runway 22 left at KJFK. So we are going to be doing a visual approach and a visual landing at JFK. Alright, I think that's actually about it as far as our flight plan is concerned. Great day for VFR flying, crystal clear skies and great visibility. The aircraft we're flying today is this right here. This is the Diamond DV20. Great little plane. I think I have flown this once or twice before. I'm not terribly familiar with it, but I do recall it being quite an enjoyable plane to fly. So at the moment we're on runway 02 at KHVN. Let's get all of our radios set up and take off. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is set up the Deer Park VOR, which is on a frequency of 117.7. 117.7, there you go, make that the active frequency. Okay, it doesn't seem to be picking up just yet, but that's okay. I guess once we get airborne, it should start picking up. As for the plane itself, okay, flaps are on takeoff, that's fine. I checked the trim just now, that's okay. Parking brake, that's released, that's on. The choke is on. Just test the throttle real quick. Okay, that's fine. Give the controls go, give the rudders a go, that's fine. You know what, I think we're actually good to go. Let's release the parking brake. Seems to want to get going. No idea why I just had that little stutter there. Right, let's trim for climb. Yep, not the classiest takeoff. I really need to do something about these rudder pedals. They are way too sticky. Thinking of just dumping a bunch of grease on those sliders so they don't have that annoying starting friction anymore. Let's back up the throttle just a little bit there. We're not going to be flying terribly high. 3,000 feet will do on this trip. See, that's the airfield we just took off from. Slightly bumpy, Maybe it'll smooth out once we're over the Long Island Sound. Actually completely forgot to set the OBS here. So that's now set up to track the 047 radial on the Deer Park VOR. Just find out where we are at the moment. Yeah, we're currently on the 45 radial. Flying the 45 radial at the moment. So if we're on the 045 radial and we head roughly south, that will take us to the 047 radial, which we can then follow. And because it's the 047 radial and we're flying inbound, it means our heading will actually be 227 degrees. And sure enough, we are intercepting that 047 radial right now. So let's fly a heading of 227 degrees. There we go. Should put us where we want to be. We don't need to follow the needle perfectly. We don't need to chase the needle. Let's get up to 3,000 feet. Currently flying over the Long Island Sound. Seem to have drifted off course there for a moment, unfortunately. Yeah, so I need to turn more to the right, basically. That's Connecticut off our right-hand wing, and Long Island up ahead. I am hand flying the aircraft on this one. I don't think this plane actually has an autopilot. Let me just look around. Yeah, no, there doesn't appear to be an autopilot of any kind on this plane. Let's just go back to our previous heading of 227. So one word of advice about this game: if you are trying to accurately log your hours, then I do recommend using a manual logbook, whether that's pen and paper or a spreadsheet of your own doing, makes no difference, but don't depend on the logbook inside Flight Simulator. The built-in logbook is basically broken at this point. It sometimes doesn't record your landings, it sometimes records your landings at the wrong airport. And sometimes, best of all, it just doesn't record your flight in any way whatsoever. Alright, so I'm now heading into Long Island, which means that I need to start looking out for that Long Island Expressway, which is the I-495. And when I find it, as per the visual runway publication, I need to tune into the Carnacy VOR and follow the Long Island Expressway until I actually intercept the 068 radial of the Carnacy VOR. I then need to fly the 068 radial inbound until I have the Belmont racetracks on my right hand side. And when I do have the Belmont racetracks on my right hand side, I should be able to line up with the runway and put this plane down on runway 22 left. By the time I get to the racetracks, I need to be at 1,600 feet. I've actually gone a bit higher than I wanted to. Let's get back down to 3,000. Okay, so the Long Island Expressway should be pretty much the biggest road that we can see from the air, and it should be heading across Long Island, so it should be running from west to east roughly. Let's see. I think that could be it up ahead. Right, let's tune in the Carnacy VOR 112.3. The 068 radial. Yeah, I'm fairly sure that that is in fact the Long Island Expressway. Wonder if I can actually see the racetrack already. No, I can't. Okay, let's follow that road and see where it takes us. I wonder, is it this road or is it the one to the left of it? Do you know what? I think it's actually the one to the left of it. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm gonna follow the one to the left. It doesn't matter a whole lot, as long as we are heading in a westerly direction. That should eventually have us intercepting the 068 radial on the Carnacy VOR, and that's what really matters here. But I do need to get down to 1,600 feet by then, so let me pull back the throttle a bit. It's a nice outside view. So when I intercept the 068 radial, I have to fly it inbound, which means heading off 268. No. 248, yeah. Descending a bit too fast there. So currently flying over Long Island. Pull back the throttle a bit more, speed's getting a bit high. Let's keep it to about 500 feet per minute our descent. It should be enough. That's 1,500 feet. Let's keep it to about 1,600. According to the visual approach chart, or the visual approach procedure rather, we should be at 1,600 when we do reach, when we do intercept that 068 radial. So let's pick up that nose a bit. Don't lose sight of that big road that we're following. You can see that the CDI there is getting a bit active. We are definitely starting to intercept it. About 100 feet too low here. takes a bit of fiddling with the sensitivity and control setup to be able to trim aircraft accurately in this game, which is slightly annoying. Wonderful day for flying though. Excellent weather. Couldn't ask for anything better. Just gonna follow this road as it meanders around. I think that is the intersection up ahead that I can make out on the procedure. Which means that shortly after we cross that intersection, we should be picking up that 068 radial. About 100 feet too low there, so let's just be careful not to drop any further. We do want to keep it around 1,600 feet. Still just following this road. Very nearly on that radial that we're looking for, the 068 radial from the Carnacy VOR. And that's about good enough for me. I'm going to turn left heading 248. Right about there. So I should be able to see the racetrack. Somewhere nearby. It should appear on my right hand side at some point. Let's pull back the throttle, get some flaps going. The airport should be somewhere out there. Yep, there we go. That is the racetrack. Down there. There's also something else down here. Is that the racetrack? No, I think that is the racetrack. Yeah, let's go with that one. Which means that I should be lining up with runway 22 pretty soon. Right, and I should be turning to line up with the runway right about now. Let's turn heading 220. I think I'm a bit too low. Oh, and I turned way too far there. 220 is what I'm looking for. Let's see, where is the runway? Get a bit of altitude going here, because I think this has been a screw up. I think that's the runway over there. Did I see something that wasn't the racetrack and interpret it as being the racetrack? Yeah, I think I did. You know what, since I clearly don't have the runway in sight, I'm gonna turn around, go back to the road, and retry that last bit, actually. Hang on a minute. Yep, I see where I went wrong. That is actually the racetrack. That up ahead is the Belmont racetrack. Not that other stupid thing that I was following. Alright, mystery solved. Time to pull back the throttle and get ready for approach. Well, final approach at least. Get some flaps down. was actually supposed to stay at 1,600 feet until I reached the racetrack. We're actually all the way down at 1,100. That would be runway 22 left, the shorter one. Alright, time to start lining up. Flaps down to the landing configuration. That's full flaps on this plane. Not entirely sure what the approach speed on this plane is. I should have probably looked that up beforehand. I think we are getting quite a bit of crosswind here. Hope it doesn't cause a problem. Let's just see what happens. I'm at about 50 knots. I think that should be okay for landing. Let's just see. Not entirely happy with this lineup, if I'm honest with you. And the reason I'm not happy with the lineup is because that isn't in fact the runway. That is the runway. Yeah, that was that left a lot to be desired, if I'm honest with you. I am killing the power all the way. We should absolutely do a missed approach at this point. That would be the proper thing to do. Obviously we are way too high. But who knows? Maybe we could salvage this. Far from brilliant, isn't it? Yeah, okay, we'll just kind of leave out the bit where I was actually lining up with the taxiway instead of the runway. We'll just gloss over that, pretend that never happened, and call it a fairly decent landing. And on that note, bring this video to an end. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you didn't learn anything from that, because you will probably get yourself killed if you did. And see you again next time.